clerk, please call roll. All right, we're item number 2, National Water Club. Come on up. How you doing? It's good to see you again. If you would, give your name for the record and so the button around the top, you have to push it to hold down to the screen. It's further back. Project. Oh, did he? Sorry about that.
Good evening. My name is Dirk Carter, I'm agent for the National Motor Club.
My name is Silver Harrison, also an agent for the National Motor Club.
Well, first of all, we just want to thank you guys for having us, and I want to say thank you, Mayor Hanks, and all the honorary members of the board here. What we want to do is just present some information regarding the National Motor Club. I don't know if you're familiar with the Motor Club, but it is the largest motor club in America. And basically, what we do is we offer family benefits and individual benefits. It's like a supplemental insurance, but it's not insurance. And what I like to do is just go through that plan, just, let you guys know what it is that we offer. And what we're trying to accomplish here today is maybe a relationship with the board where the board will acknowledge these benefits as something that they might even want to utilize for the employees of the village. And how best we could do that is something that you would deem important or necessary that the employees could benefit from. First of all, we've been in business. Since 1956. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. I like to say that because it's really important to know that whoever you decide to deal with, that they are a reputable business and they have some longevity in the business. We service Canada and Mexico, and one of the things that we do with this motor club, although it's a motor club, most people identify when we talk about we're the National Motor Club. A lot of people say, well, I have AAA or I have roadside assistance. Roadside assistance is one of the many benefits that we offer. And as I said, it's $130,000 of benefits that we offer for the amount of $20 a month. And the reason I say that, $20 a month, which I think is just a phenomenal deal, for a phenomenal package, and I just want to talk briefly about that. And when I talk about the roadside assistance part, when you think about AAA and you think about roadside assistance, the sponsor organization that oversees dispatch for AAA is called CoachNet. Motor Club, the National Motor Club owns CoachNet. We are the largest. We have over 12 million members. And it is constantly growing just because of the benefit package that we do offer. The first thing that we offer, I just want to talk about briefly, is 24-hour accidental coverage. This means that if an employer decides to take advantage of these benefits and an employee decides to have it, wherever that employee is at any time, whether they're in their vehicle, out of their vehicle, and an accident happened, they are covered. To what extent are they covered, though? Like I said, it's benefits and not insurance. We know if you have full coverage insurance and you go to the hospital, it's going to cover the hospital, it's going to cover the doctor, it's going to cover for your bill. But who's going to pay the one who has the benefits? Who's going to pay the one that actually needs the coverage? If he's off work or she's off work and they still accumulating bills that they have to pay at home. What we pay is going into the emergency room, we pay you $100 for just going into the emergency room. If you are admitted into the hospital, we pay $150 a day, up to 400 days at the value of $60,000. This is just one benefit. Now we're talking about, and I want you to begin to think about the value of what do we value $20? I mean, $20. We get $60,000 worth of hospital benefits. We also have global emergency service. Basically what that is, if you're somewhere and you have an accident and you have to be medevac somewhere, this is another $20,000 expense. You have to be medevac, and regardless of where you need to be medevac to, this medevac benefit will cover that. It'll cover child care. Say you have an accident and you lose your life, and also send your remains back home. So that's what the global emergency service provides. That's another $20,000 benefit. We have $10,000 accidental death. Now, God forbid, we can't foresee accidents, but we all know that accident happens all the time. The thing is what type of coverage do the village offer, as well as the insurance plan that the village might have for the employees. Like we said, we're not trying to take place of those benefits. What we're trying to do is offer supplement to have complements so that they can have further coverage. We also offer roadside assistance. Basically what that is, we offer me roadside assistance. Now this benefit alone is worth $20 a month. We talk about, the value of it. We do battery boost, fuel delivery, tire change, lock service, tow service. And what's unique about us and different about us is this. Well, when you talk about AAA, they'll service you 3 to 4 times a year, right? And then after that, you have to go on to the next year. What we do is we service you any place, anywhere, anytime, as often as you need us. It doesn't matter where you are, we will come and service and provide that service unto you. We also have a $500 reimbursement. We've got a couple more to go through. $500 travel reimbursement assistance. Basically what that is, if you're 100 miles away from home and you have an accident, what we do is we will provide $500 reimbursement for car rental, meals, lodging, and commercial transportation. We think that's one of our phenomenal benefits, especially if something happens and you have to pay out of your pocket. It's good to know that you can get up to $500 back. When you think about the family unit and how much the family is constantly paying out, one of the things that we do, we realize that we say, if something happens, we're going to give back to you instead of take out of your pocket. We also have multiple discounts, 15% on car repair, 60% on dining, up to 60% on dining and entertainment, 20% at CVS stores, 60% up from 15 to 60% on pharmaceutical at Walgreens, at drugstores. That's on the generic brand, and then 40% on the name brand. So constantly there's savings. So when you think about the family and how we utilize these services in our everyday life in our family, we always go into the store. We always get our car repaired. Our cars are always breaking down. And like I said, accidents do happen. But if they do happen, who's going to cover the person that had the accident? We're going to pay directly to that person that had that accident for that year up to that, $60,000. We also have an additional $1,000 in attorney fees. That's $500 for personal injury, $500 for vehicle damage. Let me put that in perspective for a minute. So you have an accident, you get $500 for vehicle damage from your vehicle, although it's not insurance. You get $500 towards your personal injury, although it's not insurance. That's paid directly to the person that's carrying the benefits. Now you go into the emergency room, you get $100, now you get $150 a day. And these are the type of benefits that we're giving a person for $20 a month. And so we think about, can the employee actually benefit from something like this here? The reason that I decided to take this on, when it came across my desk, I said, hey, this is a blessing. And I seen it, and I said, well, the opportunity to present itself for me to be a presenter of this phenomenal package. So what we have in excess of what I just explained as fast as I could, and not that we'll talk too fast, we have $130,000 in benefits. And it's a one-time enrollment fee of $20 a month. And what we're asking is for the board to consider offering this to the employees, or allowing us to offer it to all the employees of the village, because it's so cost-effective. That's one way. Another way we're asking the board is to consider possibly adopting it and say, hey, we can utilize this. What we do is we go to small businesses. We've had several small businesses to take the enrollment fee and have the employees to pay the monthly fee. But there's many different roles that can work. We would ask also to be considered to work with the Human Resource Department so that we can offer these benefits to all employees. We feel it's a phenomenal deal, and at this time I'll just stop and see if there's any questions that you might have for me.
Any questions from the board? All right, I think they have a lot. Okay, yes, please.
These are just for height. These just for employees of the church, right?
No, sir, anyone who utilizes it. We offer to the employer for the employees, and we also offer to the employer. Because
Any resident.
oh, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
in other words, how would they, if they want to contact you and get that instead of, I don't really have just liability insurance, they want to get this national employee club. How would they do that?
Well, basically, I gave you, our information in my card where you can call me. But one of the ways that, the reason that we come here to the board is to maximize our potential in spreading the business through the village. Because we feel that the workers truly should first have the option to this phenomenal package. And then those who want to utilize it outside of the workers, of course, we want to afford them that opportunity.
The reason I was asking, is there a certain number, there's a certain quota number, there's a certain amount of people that have to roll in after that $20, or if we get 3 people that live this, that they want to be part of this, it'll be $20?
If we get one, it's still be $20. And it's going to be $20, it doesn't change. And another thing too, you can opt out whenever you want to. And there's no, there's no restraints on if you decide to have it. If an employee chooses to come on and change their mind because they're not financially able to sustain it for whatever reason, they can just opt out.
I just want to say I don't understand.
Can you share?
I just want to say that I do understand about the program in detail and that you can explain it quite well. And I just want to say it is a great benefit for anyone that would like to become a member. It has a lot of benefits. I can say that because I'm also an independent distributor.
Okay.
As you see on my keychain, I'm an independent distributor as well. So I know the products that I work and I can vouch for the company that all of the benefits that he say happens just like that. So I just wanted to say that for whatever it's worth. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And just, I didn't know Trustee Washington was a distributor. We met at Marcus Evans Fitness and Health Fair.
Yes.
So went through his spiel and asked if he could come and present it to the board. I thought, it sounded good. Come and set you up a date so you can come meet with the board. So I think the board has a lot of information and we'll probably discuss it at a later time, get back with you, and let you know what the board would like to do.
Thank you so much for your consideration.
Oh, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yes. Was Sauk be able to utilize this program to employ Sauk?
Yes, for sure. So when we do that individually, I'm so glad you mentioned it, because there's a discount when you add someone on for the family. Although the enrollment fee is $3, when you add somebody for the family, it's a $15 discount. So, the discount goes down as you add members from the family, which is really phenomenal. So you add 5 people, you have a discount savings of $60. But the monthly fee is still the same. Okay?
20 per person?
20 per person. And the way that is attractive is out of the person's checking account. So what we do is we would have to retrieve the person's routing number and checking information so it can be extracted out of their account each month. I also identify those that would be interested.
Great. Thank you very much. Item number 3, discussion of roll-off dumpsters. Sherry, come on up.
The reason why I brought this up was I was receiving a lot of complaints, like I told the board last week, about the restrictions with one dumpster company. I made copies of the, I put it in everybody's box also. scavenger ordinance. And an ordinance that was created for roll-off dumpsters by the past administration. It's 05-21. I put it on the top. I think that we really need to start letting some of these scavengers come into the village. They would be paying $500 for a license for the year, which would bring revenue into the town, which we need. And also it would give the residents some opportunity to pick who they want, to service them. I mean, Allied is the only one on the list. Sometimes it's taken 7 days to get a dumpster, and it's like $400, and they will only let them keep them for a week, and then they recharge them the $400. I just think it's financially a good thing for the village. We should do it, but that's why I wanted us to discuss it.
I think first thing just so the board realizes is some of the complaints we received last week. I contacted and talked to Gary Group about them dumping the garbage and leaving the garbage cans in the streets. He assured me he was going to have to talk to his drivers. I'll follow up with him again this week because I know we have garbage pickup, I think, was it here tomorrow, and we have it at the end of the week, so I'll follow up with him on that one. And we did talk about the roll-offs and the amount of time he was going to go back. They moved him. Now he's at their, I don't want to say the men's office, but he's going to come back up. He's working really closely with Child Rights Office. So he's going to follow up with them about the issue we talked about, the amount of time, charging them again, and the time it took for the roll-offs to get to the house. So he's supposed to follow up. I had Anthony DeLuca called and left me a message on my cell phone. I tried calling him back, and we haven't touched base. So I'm hoping that this week I'll be able to touch base with Anthony also, so we can resolve some of these issues that we're having. And that's where we're at there. I guess the question before us tonight is, do we want to add additional roll-offs to the ordinance so we can bring in additional companies? And if we do, how many additional are you looking at? Just a minute.
I should probably bring in another company, as long as there is a time period. Now, I have 7 days, 7 days.
That's what Allied lets them have it for 7 days.
That's a pretty short time period, truthfully. When you were told you're having a home, it will take a couple weeks to do it. But yet, I don't want to see it 30 days. The thing is, I'll sky high and look nice in the moment. There's a match, but I don't want to see that happen either. So I encourage looking at another company where there's some discussion out there for the contractor. But I think we should still have some type of a time limit. What is the fee now? $500?
Yeah, it's $500 a year, and that goes from May 1st to April 30th of the following year. So it would be $500 extra per scavenger license.
Plus, they still have to meet the state department insurance and all that.
Well, they would have to pay the bond and their insurance and pay the $500 fee to be put on that list, and then, that list would be distributed to the residents. If they want to use whoever, they can get prices.
That's you or me? I'll sit back. How's that?
I personally don't have a problem with that at all. We can add it, but we can also add the for the
How about if we, okay, I have one that says they have no problem with additional roll-off. If we can get some of the restrictions that you would like to see, if we get that information from the attorneys, because we'll have to amend the ordinance. Or do we want to have these restrictions come back before the village board and review them, or would you rather just see the ordinance written up with the restrictions that we're talking about, where you can review it before it's voted on?
They're not, basically, not that many churches of free of that moment. Which they must have the insurance and state required for each contractor. Will be automatic for the time limit. There's 7 days, they're already
discussed with the attorneys about if there are such state regulations for these dumpster companies, and I believe Mayor Lynch, responded to you also, and there is no regulation. There is no licensing through the state for a scavenger license company.
Right.
There are a contractor, they're not a contractor license.
Well, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be a contractor's license, it would be a scavenger's license from the village. It would be the $500 bond in insurance.
Right.
And it would be good for the
One
year.
of the states that have to get the bond insurance.
Right.
Anyone else? Yes, sir?
Just, I mean, I would still like to pursue allies, see if they change their, if they're gonna, if it's gonna just be a week, or if they extend it for 2 weeks, or kind of work with them too. I mean, we can find out when before we change everything. That's something that we been talking about last week, if we find out from them what they're going to do, like we're going to change their, before we make this other stipulation, that's all I'm going to
And,
Well,
and
that's
to make sure that
fine.
we're, yeah, I
All
want to
I'm
make sure that
just
we're
saying is I
clear.
think we should have multiple people that they can use, like presidents can use.
But we want to make sure that we're clear.
It's for roll-off dumpsters only, for construction and cleanup. It's nothing to do with regular household pickup.
Correct.
It has nothing to do with our regular garbage service, which Allied has. It's for dumpsters, for cleaning.
And before, we used to have 3 roll-off companies. If I remember, we had Berlin, we had Skyline. I can't remember the third company.
Yeah,
Allied, okay, so we had 3. What has happened is Bruin is no longer out there. Allied and Skyline has combined, and then leaves us now with just one scavenger service. And I should make sure we're clear, I think you made it very clear. This is not for home garbage scavenger pickup. This is only for commercial projects where someone has to have a dumpster brought in to do
for
a roof,
siding.
siding, things like that. Right. But how about if we do this, how about if we have Trustee Myers, who has orders review committee anyway, come together and work with Sherry. I'm only hearing adding 1 roll-off. I don't hear multiples.
Then I can put that on the license, stipulate on the actual license that I do, it can say roll-off only.
Right.
I think that's what I used to do for Bloom when they had their license. So,
Let's have you put something together. I would say right now, we'll leave it off the agenda for, let's put it back on the agenda in 2 weeks to review during the committee meeting. That way it gives us a little bit more time to go back and talk to Allied. I know I did talk to Gary, but I would like to have with you.
that's fine. I just want to let this, I would bring it to you guys as questions.
Is that okay with the board? All right. Thank you very much. Move to item number 4, which is pass tickets. Something that came up during the board meeting last week about the amount of tickets that we still have out there that are unpaid. Sherry brought it to our attention about how every month they end up going back to court, the fines end up getting increased again. And I guess it's up to the board is, do we want to do some type of amnesty program where we put it out there for those who have large amounts, or those who go to large amounts of money, that we say, you come back and you pay this fine right here, and we'll wipe the remainder of it free. A lot of times you see Chicago does the same thing. Every couple of years they come back and say, just pay your original ticket and we'll wipe your slate clean. Do we want to consider something like this? I know that a lot of residents have received tickets. They're no longer residents here anymore. They were rental properties and they're gone. Or we've seen where residents have left and they no longer live in those homes, those homes are empty. So I'm just throwing it out there. Do you have any other ideas?
If they're gone, how do we collect anyway? I mean, if they're gone, how do we go about collecting? They're going to come to an amnesty? I mean, if they're gone, what I wanted to see was some type of, some teeth or something that we can attach these tickets to. If they are, whatever, however we can, it follows them on their, if it has to follow them on their driving record or whatever, we have to have something to attach them. You just said if they're gone, then how do we go about getting that money from that person that's gone? They're going to come back and say, oh, they got amnesty now, let's go ahead and we'll pay it now. They haven't paid all this time. I just want if we can find something with the lawyers that we can address, that we can put some teeth and something that can stick to them wherever they go, that they won't be able to do anything because this will stay on their record. It's the same thing that we do. I'm sorry that Chicago does. You get a ticket, and even with the red light, it goes on your record. It goes on your driving record. Now, sooner or later, you're going to end up paying, and those are the amnesty programs. Now, if you don't pay, then, you know, I don't know if it goes against your credit or whatever. I don't know, but we need to find something that we can have some type of way that we can make them pay, even if they leave, because you're right. A lot of them got tickets for code violations, and they don't want to live here. So how do we collect those tickets? So that's...
Well, we already have a collection agency that we use, so they're going after them through the collections. Some of the tickets, we may issue liens against the property. Again, if they're vacant, they remain vacant, and then of course those liens go to the next person who purchased the property. So some of those we may get. And what I'm saying is, I'm just throwing it out there. I didn't know, that's why I put it on the agenda tonight, to see if any other trustees had an idea or a suggestion on something we should do. I think we're doing what we can do as a municipality. I look for you, if there's something else out there that you think that we can do, other than collections and other than putting liens on properties.
That's the only thing you can do. If they got a ticket on the property, whatever property it is, even if they don't own it, whoever owns that property is responsible for that ticket. But in the mortgage company too, they can't get an owner occupancy. That property cannot get an owner occupancy permit until all that's taken care of, like they do with water. Do the same thing we do with water.
Yeah, I had a question here. Is there anything we can do, especially since we have a lot of rental properties out here, landlords, looking into the crime-free housing ordinance that we have? I know Park Forest is home ruled and they've really expanded theirs, and I know we can't do that. But if we get this program up and running, and this does happen, we get a group of landlords that are a part of this, they're not going to say, well, Mrs. Jones, you can't go here, because they all talk and they all communicate. There's a database that it all goes into. And once you're in that database, it goes to Park Forest or it goes wherever, they can look and say, well, you owe $500 to Sauk Village. So it actually turns around and bites them in the backside.
I don't know the answer to your question, so I think it's something that...
Well, not necessarily the municipality, but the landowner that owns that property, the mortgage company, or not the mortgage company, but the landlord, they don't want you there because you're owing bills to another town, and they all talk and they communicate.
We catch trustee names real quick. She was next.
Is this going to be for to wipe the slate clean for now and then move forward? Because I guess my concern is that we have code, we have BD out, writing tickets, and then people aren't paying them, so then we're going to give the amnesty now to kind of wipe the slate clean, but then are we planning on continuously doing that? So then, to me, that would encourage people to, well, if I just wait, I don't think I take it anyway, because eventually in 2 years or whatever, they're going to say, oh, that's okay, just pay this or not.
Yeah, I think it's maybe like a one-time thing. Again, I know you hear the city of Chicago say, between this certain date, you have to pay your fines. You can come in, and we'll wipe it clean. Again, I'm only throwing something out there as a suggestion, and I'm looking to use a board to see if you've heard of anything else that's being used in other communities. And we can't be the only community having problems with collections. I'm sure there's other communities. Trustee Rich.
You could say that I've been tracking the tickets pretty good and turning in, and I've been money for it. You realize that's not just a few $100,000. It's a
Right.
pretty good. And I agree with Trustee Williams. If you get a point to give answer to this group here, and then you go ahead and, like you said, 2 years down the road, I won't pay mine up. The thing of it is, if we're going to do that, especially with no property maintenance, every piece of property out there has a mortgage company or a bank or somebody on it. We rewrite that citation to that corporation. Trust me. as I said many times before, when a CEO or a bank president gets a citation sent to him, you betcha there will be action taken. And I've had nothing but good coming out of doing it that way. But I know these people probably moved on to New Jersey, California, wherever it may be, but they leaving us stuck with a mess. And if we take those citations and rewrite them to the bank, I have no problem with that. And Sherry is capable of getting the mortgage company and the bank and our outstanding housing department that they can get those, and I have no problem with that. But that's all a lot of money that we're going to take to sleep with, as long as the board knows that.
I just want to throw it out there, and it does seem like the board is in favor of just looking around the table, so, again, I think it's good conversation, and it's probably good, something to keep in the back of our mind. Listen around other communities. I know we're going to be dealing with a lot of communities coming up next month or so. Find out what they're doing to get their, to go after the ones that aren't paying their bills. This is where you need to start doing your networking and start talking to other communities.
I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that if we did it like for one time, to kind of, let our residents know that we are trying to work with you, we understand, but I just don't want to set a precedent, I don't want to, because we're asking people to make fines, write the tickets, and do all that. I don't want to see them people not pay.
Sure. Anyone else? All right. But hopefully it's not. Hopefully we'll. All right, item number 5, discussions about vicious dog ordinance. This is something else that's come up during the board meetings about dogs and problems we're having, and I just wanted to bring it up. We looked at the ordinance, and my suggestion is to pass this back over to the ordinance review committee. There's some terminology and some wording in our current ordinance that may need to be upgraded a little bit. And it talks about village managers. We don't have a village manager. Maybe we need to add some things like for other individuals, designees, things like that. But I don't think there's a lot of work needs to be done, but you should have the ordinance before you. It's pretty thick. So we do have an ordinance that was passed back in 2004.
Yes.
So I think there's...
That is the last known ordinance we did pass. I did find it. I came in and met with Susie. She let me in after hours, and I found a copy of it. And I put it, we got it in our box and everything. This is the last map. So please take a chance to read it. Yes, it is all, it's not the same chapters in here, but it's in our new book. So there is some changes in it. There needs to be some changes in it and stuff like that. Look at it. I urge each one of you to take your sheet here and mark on it. And get it back to me. I need it where we can make the changes, where we can make the amendment and so forth. I wasn't exactly sure. Mr. Morton brought me in from Glenwood. I have one also from South Heights and Chicago Heights coming in. Those will be in your box as soon as I get those, and you can compare if you want to. Glenwood has a pretty good one too. And I think everybody in their box received a copy of one that Glenwood, I believe it was. Yeah. Right. It's pretty obvious when you look at that. One says, no, you're right. But you got two different ones in there. So look at it and get it back to me, and I'll make it. I know there's language in there we really definitely need to change. The one Mary already mentioned, the other one is animal control officer and so forth. We need to look at that and make a determination what we're going to do with there. Because these people, I know when I have to go out and dart an animal, you Cook County wants a full report filed on it and hand it over to the vet when I take that animal into the vet. So please get back to me.
So we'll pass that over to orders review committee. If you would review it suggestions, or do you see anything there that we no longer have here in Sauk Village? Again, this was written in 2004, so we put that quite a few years.
One last thing. Debbie, can you get a copy to the deputy chief where he can take a look at it too, please? The ordinance, where you take a look at it, make marked up. Jake, either yourself or your designate, please have them go through there and make changes that they see fit. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from you? All right, moving on to number 6, ordinance amending village code reinstating the position of chief of police. Before you have, is the first draft. I think there's going to be a couple more changes to it. Is this? Okay.
I received a phone call when we first received it. It said the first draft. I received a phone call from Matt approximately 4 o'clock this afternoon. He says, this is what we have at the present time. He says, but whatever you guys come up with tonight, we can amend it any way that you want to. So remember, we don't have it on the books now.
Correct.
So we are recreating it. So I urge you to get a hold of other towns and stuff and see what they got on theirs and look at it and get it back to I believe that Matt's doing this one here.
Right.
And either the attorney or back to the mayor will proceed with that. But this is only the first draft at the present time.
Right.
So
This is the first draft. Remember that when the ordinance was abolished, there was things that was turned over to the fire chief. So there may be another ordinance when it comes to fire chief. We may have to pull some of the powers and stuff that was given to the fire chief over the chief, back to the chief of police. Again, we don't have an ordinance right now. This is reestablishing an ordinance and giving the power back to the police chief. So they're checking into our other ordinances. So there may be something else that we pass for the fire chief, pulling that stuff away from him. So that's where we're at currently with this. Any questions? Should you know, I'll tell you what, how about if we put it on the agenda for next week? If we don't have the final version, we'll just have to table it. But I'm hoping that we'll have final versions. They're going through our other ordinances with fire chief and everything. Do you feel confident with that? Comfortable, or?
I would much rather have compiled back to what we have short week this week, and
So you want 2 weeks again?
I'd like to have the extra week thrown in there.
That's fine. I got no problem with that. So committee meeting, we'll come back again. See if there's anything else added.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did we change the ordinance for the fire chief?
That's something that I need to, I'm almost positive we're going to have to. We haven't yet.
No, I mean, when we made now both, did we change anything? Did we change, or did we amend the ordinance?
Yes, there was one created.
Did we have to recreate, or we have to bring
we have to amend that one back to the original one and put this one in place. So there's a lot of changes back and forth.
But then you're going to bring that back into it?
Yeah. I hope. Yes, I will try. Since there's a couple of things here, I can bring our ordinance committee together and get it done.
I think I have more time in here, so. All right, so what we'll do is put this back on the agenda in 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have everything before us. Again, this is first draft. Please make sure you reach out to Trustee Myers, since he's got ordinance review on this one here. All right. Move to item number 7, public comments. All questions and comments directed to the mayor. Each individual will be given 3 minutes to speak. Topics of their choice. Each speaker will be allowed 1 opportunity to speak.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, all the trustees, everyone. Eddie Kimball, 217th and Peterson. I'm trying to get by for some time, but my school schedule and job schedule have altered that. But I wanted to come by because I have a problem with the police officers we have in the village. And witnessed our police officers body slam a drunk old man to the ground, almost break his arm. We tried to intervene and let him know that he has heart problems because they were about to tase him. We have witnessed them constantly curse out and harass young ladies and young men that stand on their property instead of the 30 or 40 that's literally standing in the middle of the street. Yet and still we have constant shootings on our blocks. And when you look around for the police, they're never there. I can sit on my porch for 24 to 48 hours and count how many times I see a squad car. So I was wondering if maybe we can do something like the city of Chicago is trying to do, to where if we know where proper locations are, not saying we should neglect any of the village, but couldn't we take some of our police powers or police force and put them in the areas where high crime is? Because it just seems that if there's guys on the streets with guns, our police officers run another way and write tickets to people who run red lights, which I believe their time and their quality of service can be used in other aspects. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So we'll pass this over to police department and we.
Can I ask for a response? Can I have a response to me?
Well, I think, let me go back and find out, we know some of the high crime areas, and we all know Pearson's a high crime area. So let me give the opportunity to go back and meet with them and review what we can do, rather than giving an off-the-cuff answer.
Yes,
Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, I appreciate it very much.
I would just like to tell you that, I know you haven't been here a couple of meetings, but we did state we're having a police department meeting here on October 11th, it's a Friday. That may be some of the things you might want to come out, we're going to do a tour of the police department, and it's going to be more of like a, not necessarily a one-on-one with the police department, but it'll be a smaller group within the police department and have the ability to answer those questions and kind of see a little bit more about the police department, so I encourage you to come out that.
October 11th.
It's a Friday, 6:30.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So, my name is Larry Stewart on the lighter. I'm a housing commissioner, but on a lighter, I'm promoting Shine. Shine Gospel Fest, the 13th annual Shine. Come out and join us for a celebration. It's a good day. It's on September 14th, noon till 4 in Sauk Village. That's across from Best Hardware. Okay, for additional information, there'll be flyers on the back table, this side. They had little cards, I didn't think that would work. So, we're promoting it. Look for the flyers. Promote it, please. Because outside of all the bad things we can talk about, all the missed things we can talk about, let's talk about something good. Because that day is going to be a day of celebration. I look forward to it. Thank you. And a response, Mr. Mayor?
Respond?
Yes.
Shine South Village? Yeah, I think my family's coming there to be singing.
Hey.
So they're trying to talk me into getting up here and singing with them, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I want people to come. I don't want them running the other way.
No, we'll look forward to that song. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I have one request. If you could have the clerk to throw together a sentence or so requesting the lamp where we can have it at present. Sorry, come on, I set it up. I do need that to turn it into the Mavis 27. Debbie, I did request the meeting who to send that to. Yeah, thank you. That'll be there.
Good afternoon, Mayor and the board. My name is Ernest Walker. I live at 21795 Peterson. I just want to ask a question. How can the village let a owner rent a house out in the village, which they have a bad roof, have black molds in it, and how can they let a person rent that house out? The house is next door to me, if you want to know the truth. It's 21795, hers 21793. This house have black molds in it. The roof is leaking real bad. It was on broadcasting about rent to own $100,000 down, $295 a month. Now these people don't let people move into this house, and this house have black molds. They have painted over that, but how can an owner let a a person move into a home like that? And how can the village let that happen to them?
Is that the question?
Yes.
There is things that, if you're going to have someone move in, or if you're selling a home, there is things that have to be done. You have to have a roof inspection, you have to have heating inspection, electrical and plumbing, is there one more, is there 4 or 5? So you have to have all those inspections done, and there has to be certifications from a qualified contractor given to the village before they allow to have occupancy permit.
Well, I don't think that nothing was gave to these people to move in this home.
So they probably bypassed everything, and what we'll do is we can verify that they have an occupancy permit.
What was the other, sir?
21793 Peterson.
So we can verify if they have one.
Sometimes they've been moving in without these. We've been running into that problem too. People moving in these houses like crazy without inspections.
Well, this house for sure, because I took pictures of the back of the roof on the back side. You can see through the house from the back side. You can see the mold going down the wall. And as a person have moved in, I'm not trying to throw nobody out, but it's an unsafe home.
Okay. And I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. Thank you very much. We'll check on that first thing in the morning if you don't mind. Thank you very much.
Hi Mayor, this is I don't know, 2505 221st Street. I have 3 things I'm going to try to do quick. On the roll-off dumpster, if we only add 1 additional vendor, before we just pick one and add, I didn't know if we would see how much it would cost, how many days we're allowed to roll off, because it would be to my advantage to have a choice of, if I'm only going to have 2, that you've already done the legwork to find out how much it was going to cost and how many days I can keep it, instead of just picking 1, do a little work and make sure that us residents are going to get a good value. 2, on the water bill, or bills not being paid, I bought a house on 218th Street a couple years back, and when I moved in to get my owner occupancy, I had to pay a past due water bill from the previous resident. I didn't think that was fair. I couldn't fight Sauk Village, and I had to pay the $140 before I could get water turned on to my house, and I owned the home. I was really disappointed in that. Third thing for you, Mayor, is the dog bite. I am one of the victims of Sauk Village that was bit by my brother's dog. It happened on the parade day. I was walking from the parade, I went home to shower, quick got bit. Called the police officer because I was bleeding. The dog didn't have a collar on. I didn't know if he had his rabies shot. The young girl said she didn't know. Her mother or grandmother stuck her head out the door. I couldn't speak Spanish, so I didn't know if the dog had rabies or not. So I called Sauk Village Police. Officer came out. Went down there, nobody answered. I have a picture on my cell phone of them leaving because they knew I called the police. Next day, Sunday, I called the police department again because I hadn't heard back from the officer to see if the dog had rabies. He was off that day. I was told to call back the next day. I said, I can't call back the next day. This is my health we're talking about. If the dog doesn't have rabies, I need to get shots. So they sent out another officer. He went down there. They actually opened the door. He took a picture of the dog. He took a picture of a registration form and came to my house and showed me on his cell phone. I said, that's not the dog that bit me because they have 3. And one had a blue collar on. That's not the one that bit me, and that's the picture he had. It's not the one that bit me. He went back down there. They couldn't find the license. They didn't know if it had rabies. So he told me to go to the village hall that day, the next day, which was a Monday, and see how many licenses issued for that house number. I'm sorry, I'm a resident. I don't think that's my job as a resident to do backup homework for some other department here. But I went to the village hall, and the lady was real nice. She looked it up. No license for a dog were issued to that house, which means they didn't show proof that the dog had rabies. So between the police department and the village hall talk, and I went over to the police station, they issued 2 tickets. I showed up for court my 2nd day on a new job. I showed up for court, and the tickets were never delivered. I'm disappointed, and I have a $17,000 money. Oh. I'm disappointed.
John Hinkle, 1636 to 16 Place. I think, is it possible somewhere, maybe in Southland or something like that, get a article on where we stand with the water, what's all been happening with this? I know I wasn't at some meetings and something being brought up, but I mean, to let people know where we stand with that. And I don't think you'd want to have that Joe Wishy-Washy do a report on this. I hear an awful lot of bad things, but they don't get nothing right. But if it's possible, and then with what you're talking here of the amnesty thing, bad idea. I would say, you know, if I made a couple of tickets, I sure as hell be awful pissed if you're going to give people a leeway of getting away with it. Not paying. I had to pay. I think it's wrong. I mean, I would look at a different way to do that. But I would like to really know where we stand with the water. Is it possible maybe either have an article in the South Talk or Shop Talk, somewhere, at least to let the residents know where we stand.
Yeah, we'll get something put together, and I know where we're at, from the court order, so we can find out what steps have we already taken, what steps are left to go, because we're following the court order right now. In fact, right now, everything's out for bids, and I think we're right on timetable they have put out for us. On the amnesty, that's placed on hold, so it's not going to happen. So if anyone says we're going to, just make sure we make it clear, the board did not approve it, or the discussion will be no further tonight, so it's not even a question right now. Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just.
Judy asked here. The first thing is, it's been 3 months now, and I still have tree limbs and hedges and what have you, getting rotten between trees on the parkway across the street from me. It looks pretty bad. And I still can't get an answer as to why it hasn't been picked up. It goes from Sherry back to, whoever. I mean, I've been going in a big circle on trying to get this stuff done. It was over my head, but now it's way down because they're rotting so bad that they just sunk down. But it's still there. I'm sure they haven't got any grass left underneath it. Secondly, you hired a firm, and I'm sorry that I don't recall the name or what have you, but they were to evaluate our police department. And they were there, and I'd like to know what the outcome of that was. And I also would like to know what they charged. What was the cost factor? And what their history is and what the rating is. And if we're going to be using them again, and for what reason. Secondly, quite some time ago, the plan group submitted a petition to Mayor Towers requesting that the board review the petition and consider naming Tim Olivas our permanent police chief. And you know as well as I do what happened with that petition. We haven't changed our minds. We're still saying the same thing. And we feel that if he was good enough for an acting chief and he's good enough for a deputy chief now, that he's good enough for a permanent chief, since you're considering changing the ordinance back. I've gotten several calls telling me that your intent is to hire somebody from outside. And I'm asking if that is the case, then we need to go back a while when you and a trustee went to the police station and locked Fox out. What changed from that date to now? How can we afford anybody from the outside? And I'm asking this for public record so that I don't have to try and explain this to people.
see if we can get straight or wrong. The tree limbs, it appears what happened was we had a limb pickup, and they didn't have them out there, because I've done some background check on this one also. Then we had a storm come through, and they went through and cleared out the storm, and then supposedly this individual lives across the street from you, did a bunch of cutting in their whole entire backyard, cut all these trees and these limbs down, and like you said, it fills the whole entire parkway up. And been trying to get a hold of that individual, find out what they're going to do. And I think it was in like 2 houses, and one of the houses they were moving it out on trucks and things like that. So now that we have the limb pickup coming around, I think they're doing it now. That should be removed, okay? Because they're out there, so they should. Whenever they get down to the street, they should start moving that. So, again, it's an eyesore, and hopefully the eyesore will disappear through the pickup. We talked about the outside firm that came in and talked to the residents and everything. They were not hired through the village, they were hired through the insurance company. So it didn't cost the village anything. That was part of the broker insurance company to look at the police department, we looked at litigation, things like that. They talked to residents, they talked to police officers, they talked to board members, they talked to businesses to put together a survey. So the insurance company has that survey. We don't have anything right now to put out to the residents on that survey. So, and you talked about the intent to go to the outside. All I can tell you is right now that we don't have an ordinance on the books for police chief. As you heard us discuss tonight, that ordinance now is pushed off for another 2 weeks. So until we have an ordinance on the books, everything remains the same, what we currently have. So that's all I can tell you about that. All right. Anything else? Anyone else? All right. Seeing none, move to miscellaneous papers. Start with Trustee Williams. All right. Trustee Reed.
Intergovernmental relations meeting will be Thursday. It's coming Thursday at 7 o'clock right here.
Trustee Boston. I'm saying keep with that. I don't know what to do that. Let's look at that. Sorry about that. Trustee Rogers.
I don't know, right there.
Trustee Washington.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that the Neighborhood Watch will be meeting on this coming Thursday at the fire station at 7 o'clock. I want to encourage all of the residents and all of the neighbors to come out and we're going to have a very exciting and engaging meeting as always. We're going to be talking about some opportunities for people to have cameras at their home, as well as we're going to do some presentations and possibly some role acting at this upcoming meeting. And we are diligently working on getting donations for our signs. As you know, we're doing signs for our official decal that we have for the Neighborhood Watch program. I'm happy to say even on this week, more businesses and homes have been displaying these at their house. And we received a $50 donation this weekend from a private donor. So I'll have that money to turn into Ms. Mohan. We are collecting donations for our signs for the Neighborhood Watch. And that concludes my report.
I just want to let everybody know, those of you not on Facebook, this past Sunday, 4 to 12 shift, I did a ride-along program with the Sauk Village Police Department. I went with a few different officers, and I was really pleased with what I see. Now, of course, everybody says, oh, they're going to be under arrest behavior because you're in the car with them. I don't think so. I really feel these officers, they do care. They take their job very seriously. Public safety is one of the highest levels that they feel. There was good common sense police work going on. The individuals that I went with were very diligent. I don't have a scanner, but people out there that do, I mean, that these guys are going this way, that way, this way. I mean, they're going all over the place. I mean, there's calls after calls. They care. We stop. We talk to children. I mean, we were just everywhere, and they do care. It is a very tough job, and sometimes it's you might see an officer might be getting calloused or whatever, but to walk in their shoes for just 8 hours, it really puts a perspective of what these men and women go through every day of their lives. I mean, they're putting their lives on the line every day for us. We should say thank you, not just to our police department, or our fire department, our emergency services, our Department of Public Works. These people are here for us, and they all care. I think it's time that we need to show that we care for them as well. So when you see an officer, smile and wave. Say hi. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Trustee Hoskins.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. Just remind everybody that October Adopt-a-thon that the Village Animal Medical Center is having on is October 19th and 20th and October 26th and 27th. That's Saturday, Sunday. The Saturday hours are from 9 to 4, and the Sunday hours are from 9 to 2. They will also have food, crafts, and raffles. So that's a pretty good thing for the village. There are flyers in the back. It has prices for the rent, or for purchase of cats and dogs. Also, the Parks and Rec Committee meeting will be Thursday, September 5th, 7 p.m. at the Community Center. That's all I have. Thank you, sir.
All right, Trustee. Just let residents know, make sure you check your calendars. There's a lot of things going on during the month of September. It seems like every weekend, starting on the 14th, we already heard about Shine. I think the fire department's having their golf outing. So for those avid golfers that want to get out there and golf, get out there and support the fire department. And I think the 21st is Corn and Dog Roast, the employee cook-off that's going on. I just heard that there is a fitness health fair going on the 28th. Those are all Saturdays. On Sundays, our seniors have things going on in the senior center or bluegrass, and there's a couple other things. I think Movie in the Park is coming up for seniors, or not, no, I'm sorry, not Movie in the Park, but Movie for seniors is like the first or second Monday of the month. So check your calendar, get on the village website, and see what's going on. And committees, commissions, they all are having their meetings throughout the month. Tree limb, thank you. Tree limb pickup in September the 8th. So get your limbs out there before that. So September's a very busy month, and we all know the kids are back in school. So please be careful in the mornings when you're heading to work. Watch for the youth as they are going to school. Watch for them as they're coming home, and just be aware. We're back to the busy time of the season. So. That's all I have. I'm going to ask that we're not having an executive session and ask for a motion to adjourn. A motion second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.